Okay, it's chest day today after cheap weekend, so I am really run down. I feel like I get hit by a truck. But that's it. That's the end of my. I mean, this is like the time of year with Easter and everything that you kind of. It's very easy to fall off the wagon. But anyway, it was only one day. It wasn't the whole weekend. So just got to get the body moving again. Everything will work out. Everything will get back to where it was. I'm just gonna go real easy though, because of the joint pain and inflammation. Build myself up as high as I can, weight wise, and that'll be it. If I don't get where I was before, fine. I'm just got impingement in both elbows, mainly the left one, um, back of the shoulders, both knees, lower back, although lower back isn't as bad lately. Right foot, even though that's not as bad. And again, like this is what you do. You get blood flow into these areas, and then the inflammation sort of goes down. A lot of people think it's adrenaline. Well, before, a part of it can be if you're really pushing, but a lot of it is just getting the blood back there, just getting the flow. That makes a big difference. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Okay. So I don't know where I'm going to end up here, but we're just going to take it easy. Today is not going to be pushing myself to the limit day. It's just going to be what can I do comfortably? Work on form and squeeze in very slow movements. This one's going to be well controlled movements, I guess. But it's probably going to look like every other workout. Nice crack there. I definitely got to get a massage. Preferably for under $100. All right. 'Knee snapped out. Everything is getting going. What was it, 40s? 55. 55. And again, this. This is what stopped me. Okay. So for a working set today, maybe 35s. I'm going to designate this a rest week. And when I say rest week, I don't mean complete rest. I mean lower weights, more control, still squeezing the muscle, but not trying to get like the most amount of weight you possibly can. Even psychologically, it's tough to do that because you think that you're slipping. At least, I mean, I still do. Even though you're not, the muscle grows back from rest. It doesn't grow from like how much you work out, although that instigates it. But ultimately, you just want to tear the muscle up enough that it's going to grow back stronger than it was before. As long as you hit that, you're good. You don't have to go crazy with the weights. You don't have to go like 110, 120 pounds, whatever. Unless you're at like 90 pounds the week before, 95 pounds. You don't have to like jump it up dramatically. Or if you haven't done it in a while, all of a sudden just do it. The point is that you tax the muscle. So even doing something like this could lead to significant growth, even though the weight's lower, because today, this is what I'm capable of. But at the very least, you're going to maintain what you have. But sometimes it's good to have a rest week where you do lay off because the body will heal because that's what builds the muscle is the rest. And then you can come back the week after that. Sometimes it's really good for your joints to give yourself a week off. So, that in mind, I might do that. Another little trick when you should be doing this all the time. But when you're doing the reps, focus on the muscle you're trying to develop, not the joint. Because if you do that, you can usually overcome a lot of the joint issues. If you're having a particular day. Oh, 40. Oh, ow. Maybe next week will be the resty week. We'll see. It's kind of like I've gotten to that point now where the joint pain doesn't really matter as much. And I don't think that's adrenaline. I think that's blood getting to the joint. Oh, yeah. Okay. I might focus heavily on this one exercise today. One more set. Actually, I'll try 45s. Knock them down and do another set of weight. I'll come down maybe do 35s. And then I'll do a drop. Yeah. Right back there, right in the back. Right in the back of the delt. Impingement City. That's a tough one to rehab, from what I hear. So you got to be careful with that. You know, more and more, I believe Michael Hearn, where it's like, you don't have to go crazy with the weights and have heavy metal music banging and like push, like your life depends on it to get that size. That's even when you're young and you can do it, like it doesn't, you don't have to do that. And you're still incurring joint issues at that age. You're just not going to notice them for a while. That's all. But they're there. Your back is probably as vulnerable when you're super young as when you get older and you've been working out for a while. You know, it's a very delicate area. You have to protect it. And when you're younger, you don't think about that shit. It's like, well, I don't feel any pain. It doesn't mean there's not damage going on there, man. You're not going to feel it till it gets severe. You know, I blew a disc out when I was 9 years old. And I mean, maybe over the years, but when I was growing up. But by the time I got to be 18 years old, the disc was gone, completely gone. Body just absorbed it. Yeah, that's good. I'll come down though. And I'll even do 30s instead of 35. This is not a drop set. That's an actual set. So I'm going to recoup. Oh. Daylight savings time bullshit. I didn't realize we skipped ahead last night. That sucks. Spraying forward, whatever. I think they're in process of eliminating it, at least in some states. And they should. We should just make it. It should be. What time is it now? Like 11:30. it should be 11 o'clock right now. And just stay 11 o'clock. So just spring forward a half hour and no more falling back or springing forward until the end of time. This is stupid. It's an old thing that I guess farmers used to do back in the 18th and 19th century to help them plan their crops better. But now it's like, who gives a shit? If we have instruments now, the majority of us are not farmers anymore. So it's old, it's archaic. You can't drop shit like that. Same thing with the electoral colleges and some other things. Just hold on to certain things if they're not doing us any good for way too long. And I should take my own advice, right? Like, you know me, I'm a caregiver, watch my mom and watch my cats, and I'm hanging on for dear life as if they're going to live forever. Well, yeah, it could be argued that that's foolish too. They're not going to live forever, but anyway. But there's beliefs that I have that should be abandoned. And I can't really name anything specific right now, but I know that I have them. And it's like, sometimes I come to one realization where it's like, okay, what am I doing? Let me just stop this. I don't need this. It's just habits that you do every day that you don't necessarily need to do anymore. You did them for a specific reason. That reason's gone, so give up the habit. But they die hard. Your body likes familiarity. Your mind likes familiarity. Flatten it out. Like, this kind of an example. I don't have to do chest today. I just like that my chest has gotten big and nice and beautiful. And I don't want to stop doing it because I fear in the back of my head that it's all going to go to shit if I so much as take 1 week off. It's not. But it's that thing in your head, the ego. It's like, nah, I got to keep going. No, it's like, somebody asked me the other day, like, what would happen if you don't work out for a week? Everything just fall apart? No. It probably wouldn't even start to atrophy. But in your head, oh no, I got to get that chest in. It's the pump that you want. You want to look in the mirror when you're done and say, yeah, I hit it pretty good. It looks as good as it's ever going to look for the week because you just pumped it up. It doesn't mean that if you don't do it for a week, you can't get that pump next week. In fact, it'll probably be bigger. You have 2 weeks to heal. So, but you do it because in your head, you get this thing stuck in your head. Oh, the fear. I'm going to wake up a week from now and my chest is going to be completely gone. So, it's one of those things you gotta kind of like just loosen the reins a little bit, relax, have faith in your body. All right. So for straight bench, like I'm taking an extra long rest right now. I'm gonna do 35s. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably do some declines. I haven't done this in a while. But like I said, I got like my chest is my favorite body part. That's when the filler gets best. So that's why I tried. Another thing that sometimes I get in my head is that if I don't work out hard this week, next week, the injuries are going to be more severe, and I won't be able to work out that week. So it's like this thing like where you feel like you're going to have to take time off to heal. So you might as well hit it hard so that you can, you can hit it hard one last time, and then hopefully the time it takes to heal won't be so long that you'll lose anything because you hit it really hard the last time. It's 16. I think that's probably a pretty good weight. I'll do 40s one set. And then that'll be it. Either do another set of 40 or I'll come down to 35. But the key is at least 4 sets here. And then maybe maybe a fifth. And I'll do some declines. And then I'll do some maybe 3 sets of declines. I'll do some cable work. And then, see, I didn't do tries or forearms this week, so I'm either going to skip them or I'm going to do tries today off camera. I don't know yet. But that's a body part that, those are 2 body parts actually that you can kind of skip, because if you're doing your workouts, you're sort of hitting them while you do your workouts, especially your tries if you're doing shoulders and chest. Like I never even used to do tries. Forearms, well, you may not get like the dedicated movements, all the different angles and stuff like that, but you kind of do it when you do hammer curls and stuff like that. So you are exercising your forearms. But the forearms would be more important to not skip. But that depends on your body too. In my case, I can afford to skip it. Okay, another set, same weight. Okay. Nice full rest. Full rest to me is like 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, it used to be LL Cool J taught me this, but he's like, when you do a workout to get the most out of it, don't take longer than 30 seconds between sets. And it'll speed up your workouts. I think he said it'll speed up your workouts and you get the most out of it as you get your muscle when it's not quite 100% healed yet. Keep it engaged and stuff. And it's like, well, there's times for that. I'm not going to say it's not a good strategy because it served me a lot. Sometimes you take a full rest, man. You don't want to take like 10 minutes, but 2 minutes, 3 minutes, not so bad. Get your muscles like fully relaxed, the adrenaline goes down, and then you hit it again. And you feel like it's almost like your first set, but then you tire out quicker. So you are getting cumulative impact on your muscle there. Now, these philosophies that I'm talking about are things that just like I've learned over time work for me. They're not necessarily universal, everybody's different, but I find they hold water a lot more than they don't. I didn't have anybody teach me how to lift. I started on my own. I had the Weeder book of lifting, which just had like all the different movements and stuff that you can do in different exercises. Not all the exercises, but a lot of the fundamentals. And that's all. That's it. I didn't know anything about rests. I didn't know splits. I didn't know supersets. I didn't know pyramids, reverse, any of that stuff. I didn't know like that you were supposed to work out different body parts on different days and how to split that up. I didn't know anything about any of that nutrition and how important that is. And I was just going to the gym and banging it out and just hoping for the best. But it is a science, man. It's a very deep science. Like they should have PhDs in it if they don't already. Because I'm still learning to this day. Been doing it for a long time, and I'm still learning every day. So I don't think I'm ever going to know everything. And your body changes all the time too. Not just over time, but just from day to day it changes. So there's no blueprint. It's okay. So it's like, so you want to look as good as Jay Cutler in his prime. Well, if you do Jay Cutler's workout, it's not going to make you look like Jay Cutler. It only makes Jay look like Jay Cutler, and it may not make Jay Cutler look like Jay Cutler because it's a different time now. So what works today may not work tomorrow. And what works for this person may not work for you. You have to figure out what works for you. It's really no point in documenting anybody's workout because it's not going to help you. Yeah. Other than just like exercise tips and like, how to get the most out of exercises and things. But it really should be for when you're working out, like every rep count. Find an exercise that engages your muscle that day and make every rep count and do that exercise 3 to 5 sets. But like when you stop really feeling that engagement, move to something else. But if you feel that engagement all 5 sets and you want to do more, do more. You squeeze all you can out of that lemon because it might be some days one exercise is enough. Bench presses might be enough for the whole day. Just depends on the day. Sometimes you need to do 6 different exercises. Okay. I think I can do 40s again. I'm going to do 40s again. One more set. And I'll do set of 35s. And just said decline. And maybe do 3 sets of decline. Start working on cables. Maybe some overhead, some pullovers. I did a little bit of it last week, but not a whole lot. So maybe I'll do some of those. But I'm not going to go crazy on it on the way on that. Yeah. All right, feeling extra chatty today. Bring it down to 35s. You want that set. Just be flat. Oh man, so much bloat. Bloat can demoralize you. You look in the mirror, you're not seeing all the striations and all the shape and all the definition and stuff that you normally see. It can really demotivate. It makes you feel like you're getting out of shape if you're not, unless you condition yourself to know that it's just bloat. When you don't see that muscle, when you see it for like the longest time and then you don't, God, like what's going on, man? It's not even working. Like, why bother to work out? Working out is making a difference. You just don't see it. That's all. Just get that bloat off, and you'll see it. And it's not easy, but it can. It will come off. You stay focused and disciplined. Drink lots of water. Go be someplace where you can get to the bathroom pretty quick. You know, and then eat healthy foods. Lots of plants, lots of leafy greens, lots of olive oil. If you're gonna cook, lean meats. Um, Even like a little bit of fat is okay sometimes. It's not like fat makes you fat. It can, but it doesn't. So just have a variety of foods that you can eat that are not going to bloat you, essentially. And just, keep your satiety going with that. Really, it's a good idea to just eat all day, you know, but just like in small portions. You can't eat all day and just eat healthy. When you gorge at the end of the day, you gorge healthy. Decline City. Let's do it. Um, I'm gonna do 45s. Start with. right. Here we go. Here you go. Do 2 more sets of that. Then we'll start cables. We'll do some pullovers with, I don't know how much weight. Not a lot. Ah, oh, all right, let's do it. Yes. I'm gonna set. Okay. So that's the last set of that. Now start some cable work. Keep that like that because I'm gonna do that for pullovers. You know, for cable presses, I think it might be more ideal to have a machine where the bars are a little closer together, because the way I am now, it's like wide. It's like they're almost like you have to do flies on this. You can't do presses because it's so far apart. So it's like almost better to just invest in a machine where it's specifically geared towards cable presses. So like instead of having the bar this far apart, like the bar would be like right here, and get more of like a straightforward press on it. And I'm not spending that kind of money, but it would be better, I think, overall, especially for joint pain. Anyway, be that as it may, no Keen. And we'll do P30s. Okay, let me think. Oh. Four. I feel like my chest got a pretty good workout today. It could go harder, but I think I did okay. I don't think my arms can handle anymore. Okay. Yikes. Another set of 40s. And then maybe I'll do some downward cables. No, you know what? Screw it. I'll just do another set of these with 30s. Oh. All right. Okay. Now, some pullovers, and that'll be it. Oh, let's try 47 voice. Could definitely do more. Let's do 35. And that'll be almost it. Actually, that'll be it. That'll be it. One last set. All right. Start. Okay, kids, that's it. Ooh. Not bad. So all the scrapes and bruises. There's always a way to work around it. You gotta listen to your body. That's it.